Hey everybody, this is Maddie here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're all doing well. Here we are on altcoinbuzz.io with a look at the news, starting with an article by Garrett. Bloomberg and Galaxy Digital welcomes institutional investors with their new Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index. So in this vein of positive institutional news that we've been seeing for the last week or so, Galaxy Digital partnering with Bloomberg. So this is great, and this brings Michael Novogratz into the discussion. We'll get to that in a sec. The herd is on the move, says Galaxy Digital's Michael Novogratz, who announced today that his company and Bloomberg have partnered to bring a new crypto index focused on transparent benchmarking. So Michael Novogratz announced in a tweet this morning that Galaxy Digital Capital Management LP and Bloomberg have paired up and launched the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index, BGCI. Novogratz, of course, is the founder of Galaxy Digital and has been a crypto bull for quite some time. So Michael writes on Twitter, "So excited to announce our partnership with Bloomberg. The herd is on the move. This is an important piece of the architecture that institutional accounts need to treat crypto as a new asset class." Definitely. So this is a pretty, this is not seismic to the extent that New York Stock Exchange is and NASDAQ is, but to have his company partner with Bloomberg, and if you're not familiar with Bloomberg or if it's not a media outlet that you follow, Bloomberg is a big institutional heavyweight in the world of finance. So the fact that they're taking this seriously, the fact that they're eyeing this at all is a good sign. And to have a portfolio in this space, you can see the breakdown here. So heavily weighted towards Bitcoin and Ethereum. This can only be a good thing. So the transparency that BGCI aims to provide is likely long awaited by hesitant institutional investors. It will be interesting to see if big money starts coming into these 10 projects and others that may be listed on the BGCI in the future. So it looks like they're also perhaps willing to shake up or change that arrangement going forward. Maybe they're going to play with some of the percentages, but this is pretty good thing. Quote here, I forgot. So Alan Campbell, Global Produce Manager for Bloomberg Indices, says, "Today's launch of the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index reflects our clients' growing interest in cryptocurrencies. The index brings our rigorous approach to index construction to cryptos and will provide investors with a transparent benchmark to gauge the performance of the broader market." Hey, that's phenomenal. And if you're already not following Michael Novogratz on Twitter, I'd suggest that you do. He's a pretty powerful guy in the world of crypto. He's a very smart man too. He tweets sparingly, which I like. So when you get a Novogratz tweet, it has some weight to it. It tends to mean something. In other news, an article by our new edition, Licia. Welcome to Altcoin Buzz. She writes, "Former Trump aide, I believe there will be a global cryptocurrency." So this comes from Gary Cohn, who's the former National Economic Council director and former COO of Goldman Sachs. He predicted the emergence of a new cryptocurrency where the world understands it in a recent interview with CNBC. So assessing the fact his former company, Goldman Sachs, is starting a Bitcoin trading desk, facilitating Bitcoin futures, Mr. Cohn noted, "Whatever's in the stakeholders' best interests." At the same time, he expressed strong support for blockchain technology. And the funny thing about this interview, it's a weird double-edged kind of sword because he's very pro-blockchain. He's very enthusiastic about the underlying tech, but he doesn't seem to be much of a Bitcoin bull. He's not a fan of Bitcoin at all, and he feels that it's going to ultimately be replaced with something else, something more global. I don't know if he's hinting or he will choose to hint down the line at something more along the lines of like a Fed coin. I hope not, but he's certainly pro-blockchain, and I believe his gripes or his grievances with Bitcoin kind of stem from the mining aspect and the wasteful energy consumption as he views it. So Mr. Cohn posits that this cryptocurrency, the global cryptocurrency, will not be based on cost of mining and electricity, and that it will be more easily understood cryptocurrency and will probably have some blockchain technology behind it. So just a bit of a tease there. He didn't have too much to say. It's just funny to see that contrast. He's pro-blockchain. He's enthusiastic about the technology, but not so much about the proof of work concept that is really the foundation of Bitcoin. Something to keep an eye on, certainly. And we covered this yesterday, but another article by Licia, head of Messenger app from Facebook, to explore how blockchain can improve his platform. So we looked at this yesterday. David Marcus, the long-standing head of the Messenger app, has announced that he is planning to quit and instead plans to explore how to best leverage blockchain across Facebook, starting from scratch. Of course, as Licia points out, it is noteworthy that Mr. Marcus's decision comes after Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook CEO promised to further study what he calls the counter trends, like encryption and cryptocurrency, that take power from centralized systems and put them back into the people's hands. So Mr. Marcus is also a big fan of cryptocurrencies and joined the Coinbase board in December 2017. I've been involved with and fascinated by cryptocurrency since 2012, and I've witnessed how Coinbase has started democratizing access to this new asset class. Exciting news. Interested to hear your opinions one way or another, everybody. So be sure to leave a comment for Licia here. And a very interesting perspective by Luke. Bitcoin, most popular among Dutch investors. Crypto adoption heavily increasing. So the Netherlands, known for clogs, tulips, cheese, and windmills, I'm sure it's known for a little bit more than that, has seen a big increase in the popularity of cryptocurrency over the past year, Bitcoin in particular. So Luke describes the fact that the Netherlands is a relatively small country in terms of population. It's only 41,000 square kilometers as well, and consists of 17 million people. But if you look at the technology adoption, the Netherlands is really steadily becoming what Luke calls the Silicon Valley of Europe, and many people agree with him. It's therefore strange to see that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have not seen a wide adoption amongst the Dutch thus far. That said, statistics show that this trend seems to be changing. So a couple of trends about adoption in the Netherlands, what's happening, and borrowing some data from an article written in Multiscope, you have here the breakdown. So of all the money invested in Dutch cryptocurrency, 43% is in Bitcoin. And the rest of the money is invested in Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. So you can see the breakdown there. The fact that most crypto investors have invested in Bitcoin is not that surprising. No less than 95% of Dutch people know what Bitcoin is, according to a study. The name Bitcoin is even more known than cryptocurrency, which is known among 57% of the Dutch population. So that seems to be a very savvy group. Wow. I mean, even recently, the positive news that was covered last month was that I believe it was 9 in 10 Brits know or have heard of the term Bitcoin. So if we're at 95% with the Dutch, that's a very forward-thinking, tech-savvy group. Very impressive. Are you from the Netherlands? Do you have a comment? Make sure to leave some information for Luke in terms of your opinion one way or the other. So in other news, the Komodo Platform, which is something that we've looked at in the past, which we've covered, they've done something quite groundbreaking. And if you're not already following Komodo, then be sure to take a look at their Twitter here, and you can get updated as to their latest projects. They're doing all kinds of great things. We'll link to this and as well as their website in the description. But the Komodo Platform has now issued its first decentralized initial coin offering. And we've all heard the term ICO, which is initial coin offering, and that's a way generally to crowdsource your project with your fans, as well as some investors, in some cases large investors, some would call them whales. And the idea is to get your project off the ground with these fundraising mechanisms, right? There are some typically, they don't have to necessarily be weaknesses, but there are some disadvantages to ICOs, the way that they've been run, the way that they've been structured traditionally. For one thing, ICOs tend to sit on a single node or a single server, right? And this tends to slow down transactions, during that initial fundraising phase. And it also potentially, I'm not saying this happens all the time or it's a high risk, but with a single server or a single node, there are potentially security weaknesses, because if it's built around that single point, even if it's not a hack, any kind of a failure could result in a compromise of some sort. So that's traditionally been the ICO structure, right? You also have a KYC, a know your customer policy, that's for the most part becoming almost standardized now. And you're going to have to provide information. You're going to have to provide your identity and a whole bunch of other personal details. So for some that would want to remain more private, it's becoming increasingly difficult to do so. So some would also view that as a weakness of current ICO structures. So what Komodo Platform is doing now is they've introduced the DICO. I don't know how we're going to be saying that going forward. Is it DICO? Is it DICO? Is it something else? But that's essentially, the D stands for decentralized. So you have the decentralized initial coin offering. And Komodo has launched the very first in the world with Blocnation. So what is the DICO? Funds with the DICO are going to sit on multiple servers to begin with. So that makes transactions not only faster, but that makes them safer and more secure. And again, even if we're not talking about a hack, if it is a hack, then it's a decentralized structure in terms of its servers and nodes. So the hackers will only ever be able to access a percentage of the funds or the stored value. But even if it's a technical failure, if it's another technological compromise, at least you have a decentralized structure. This means that you're also less likely to have to wait in queue behind major whale investors. It's more accessible to everybody that wants to be a part of the crowdfunding phase, right? Privacy is also emphasized with this decentralized structure. So if you don't necessarily want to provide all your information, hey, you don't have to. It's not required. So the first DICO, the decentralized ICO ever, is being put forward by the Komodo Platform. It's known as Blocnation. And Blocnation is a really cool concept. It's a partner of Pouch Nation, rather, and it's allowing clients at all kinds of events. They're focusing on sort of music events, concerts, raves in Southeast Asia. They're allowing clients to purchase funds, right, with the Blocnation token with their bracelet. And they've got a lot of cool and I'd say novel ideas that they're putting forward. So for example, you have what's known here as the bounty campaign. And if we click on this, the idea is if you don't necessarily want to buy into the Blocnation DICO directly, well, what you can do instead of trading your funds directly for BNTN tokens, you can involve yourself in the bounty campaign, which is effectively a way to incentivize people to reward them with user-generated marketing content. So, or rather, they reward that user-generated marketing content with issuance of BNTN tokens. And there's all kinds of ways to do this, but this creates more of an organic review experience, an organic sense of what it is they're about, what are the pros, what are the cons. And you can do this through Telegram. You have all the breakdowns here of what they're offering in terms of total rewards. But they allow that to happen through Telegram. They allow that to happen through Twitter. So again, we'll link to this website, the Blocnation website. But you really have a pretty good overview here of how they're structuring that reward system with the bounty campaign. And I think it's pretty interesting. And you have all kinds of different mechanisms. Maybe if you're not on one or the other, at least you have different options available to you, including even blogs here, visual content. So that's their bounty campaign. And if you don't want to invest direct fiat in the project, you can take a look at that. And if you want to create user-generated content to market and to promote Blocnation, well, that's one way you can earn BNTN tokens. So here's a breakdown of their ICO details, exactly how much they're looking to fund. Their soft cap is 10 million. Their hard cap is 30 million. And I gotta say, it's a pretty impressive website so far. They have partnerships with VBH hostels, so Vietnam Backpacker Hostels. This seems to be the area of the world that they're focusing on. And look, guys, I don't know if you've ever been to these kinds of events, these Southeast Asia events. Your boy Maddie has been to the Full Moon Party in Thailand. And it makes a lot of sense because in that setting, when you're out all night, maybe you're on a beach, you're wearing swimwear, you're not exactly carrying around your checkbook and your wallet, and you don't want to have pockets full of coins in some foreign currency that you got to bend over to, examine under candlelight. It's a hassle. So this, to me, it makes a lot of sense in terms of what it is they're trying to create, to have a simple bracelet that is RFID, technologically wired to promote ease of use, and you can coordinate that with vendors. You can have subtractions based on your purchases of the appropriate amount of those tokens. So you look at some of the recent events that are promoted here by Blocnation. So you have Vietnam Backpacker Hostels, the Bali Marathon, Beerfest Asia, Paradise Music Festival, Brewfest Manila, Jack Daniels Indie Fest, Plus 6 3 Music Festival, and Tafisa Games Jakarta. Pretty interesting. I know you have our friend Kanye West here as well. Excellent. So it's a good looking project, I got to say. You can see a little bit of the roadmap here. Great website overall. Of course, we're going to link to it in the description. If you're interested in this and maybe taking a look at the team behind the idea, behind the effort, it's all available here for you to explore. And I'll just go over this one more time since this is something new that we're discussing. But what is the Blocnation token? So a succinct description here. The Blocnation token, ticker is BNTN, will be utilized throughout Southeast Asia's leading cashless payment community of events and venues, Pouch Nation. The Blocnation app features include altcoin holding, atomic and atomic swaps, acquiring of event tickets, hostel bookings, cashless top-up, and cash back. Seems like a good idea. It seems to me like this has a very clear use case, something that's practically a good idea and a good suggestion, because we can all picture the utility of being in that situation and having a tool like this. I would certainly sign up for it, given the opportunity in those situations. So something to check out, everybody. Make sure it's on your radar. We're going to alert you to any new developments that we noticed in Blocnation or the other projects that we cover, the other news items that we cover. And the easiest way to get those updates from us is to make sure you're following Altcoin Buzz on Twitter. Make sure you're also following us on the other social media channels. And of course, everyone, if you did like this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Be sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel by clicking the bell. And that's going to alert you with notifications to all the news and all the updates and all the coin reviews and all the content that we put out on a daily basis. So fellow soldiers of the altcoin army, I wish you a great day. Take care. Happy investing. Cheers.